All right, I'm back again. This is a follow-up on the fuel system vapor canister. The issue with, if you watch my previous video, if not, you can watch it. With these cars, there's an issue when you're pumping the gas. You go to fill up, the pump clicks off for no reason. Then you gotta hold it upside down and then it'll finish pumping. That has to do with there's air pressure that gets vapored out of here. And underneath here, there's a vapor canister assembly that I showed you guys how to replace last video. So, that just worked. When I went to fill up, I showed you guys, it worked great. The pump didn't cut off, but now I went to fill up recently and the pump's cutting off again. And my friend had changed theirs and same issue. So there's kind of two other parts it could be, I think. But anyway, there's a solenoid, a vapor, I'll show you here. A vapor canister vent valve solenoid. This is like a generic brand Dorman. I didn't get like a Ford brand because this cost me 30 bucks at Rock Auto instead of paying over $80 for genuine Ford stuff. So I'm cheap. But anyway, here's what it looks like. Right here. Unfortunately, we got to put the car up on lifts again and get underneath it. And I wish this was better, easier to get to. But I did test, because I'm curious, like, those of you guys that know how to use, I guess, voltmeter. I did test this with a voltmeter for ohms, and it had like 60 ohms. I think it was something like that. So I'll test the one that I remove. I'm hoping that maybe it doesn't read anything, so I know for sure. But we'll see. So basically, this opens and closes and allows air to vent and things like that. I think the way it works, if I remember correctly, when you're driving, it's supposed to be open and to let the fuel, when the car's turned off, it's supposed to be closed. So I don't know if it's gonna make a difference, but I figured I'll replace it. The other thing that I was reading that has to do with the whole EVAP system, it's under the hood. Let me pop this hood here. Come on, buddy. You can do it. I'm kind of against the wall here. Hold on a sec. I don't even see it on this car. On the Mustang GTs, there's a EVAP, an electronic EVAP thing. I don't know if it's also considered a solenoid, but I don't see one here. All right, I'll have to come back to you guys, the GT500 owners, to see where that's at. Maybe this one doesn't have one. I don't know what this, that's something different. So that might be AC. Oh, here it is. This thing here. Hold on. Let me get my flashlight. I know my garage is a little messy today. My man cave is messy today. It's underneath here. This piece right here, this. Can you see my finger? Hold on. This where my finger's at. This little thing that looks like it's a honeycomb on top. I don't know how that's coming out on the good. Well, that's here. That comes out, and it's got an electric connector, and it has to do with the EVAP system as well. So that's the only other part. I mean, if this fails and I still get the pump click off, at least that one's easier to get to. Granted, darn, on this GT500, I have to take off my intake, which will involve taking off the strut tower brace and things, but oh well. But it's still easier than what we're about to do. So anyway, let me put the hood down. Hold on. For those of you with the regular Mustang GT, or even, I don't know if the V6 has similar setup, that's what it looks like. And that's another, it's like another $80 part, but maybe I think on Rock Auto it's cheaper. Shout out to Rock Auto. You can get parts for cheap there. Hold on a second. But today's focus is going to be on the vapor canister solenoid. What's it called? Oh, the vapor canister vent valve solenoid, if you're looking by nomenclature or name. Okay, a lot of you, when I went to this last car event, a lot of you guys are interested in the quick jacks, so I usually have my car up on lifts, but not this time. I'm just going to show you real quick. The quick jacks have these. I just line mine up with the pinch welds. They have these rubber stoppers here, so I just line these up, and they slide easy on the ground at least. You could line them up however you think. They also sell these things for your frame of these cars where you can jack up your car, which I should probably look into that. But I just wanted to show you the quick jacks come with these. I got all kinds of different sizes. This one is nice if you have a super low car and it's long. But you know, something like these, and they're a necessity. Even these. Anyway, so, and this is the main unit. It's hooked to these hydraulic lines. So this takes, well, automatic transmission fluid or hydraulic fluid. I guess they're kind of the same thing. They'll tell you, you hook them all up in here, and you fill it here, but you have to keep this kind of loose because this is a air valve. And this kind of lets air out when you're pumping. If you have this all the way shut, it'll crumple this. I had that happen. Good thing this is kind of plastic. So there's all these nuances. So, and then there's up and down button. So there's a YouTube video. They give you the link when you get your quick jacks. I think I spent $1,500 or so for mine. They're like normal for regular size cars like Mustangs. They sell heavy duty ones if you have like a big heavy pickup truck or something. But the quick jacks are great. You just have to make sure when you buy them, you know, you gotta like do the whole bleed the hydraulic fluid out, and then you gotta do another step to make sure that both jacks are rising and falling at the same time. So they're not as simple to set up as you might think, but once you have them set up, you can leave them alone. And by the time you put your car on jacks, you guys know that it takes forever to put them on jack stands, and jack stands are dangerous. So, all right, let me jack this up. So it's as simple as pushing the up button. I already got things lined up here. So you push this button, this is up, pretty simple enough. And that thing's clicking into place. You can see this here. See this? It locks into this groove. And then when you put them down, you got to raise your jacks a little and flip this thing to go down. So this kind of makes sure that if the hydraulics fail, you won't get crushed. And usually I check it halfway up, but you can kind of check just to make sure. Like, see, that's lined up. It's right on the pinch weld. See, this is right kind of on a pinch weld too. Kind of. There you go. And you can see it shifts the car back on, so just keep that in mind. All right, and same thing here. Just make sure that's on the pinch weld, perfectly centered there. All right. So what we want to get to is under here. This is such a pain. But you see this? That's the solenoid we have to replace. But we have to take off this cover, 7/16 bolts. Undo. This is one of them. What do you call it? Push pins, etc., etc. Just like my last video, if you didn't catch that, because the canister's under here. So I'm gonna take this off. I wish. Yeah, that's too bad. We gotta take this thing off again. It's a little bit of a pain because back here, I had to make these zip ties, unfortunately, because these were. You might run into the same problem if these bolts come out. They're like they slide in. There's no way you can get them back in usually. Loosen, unclip this. I'm gonna stick something under, like a bucket or something, to hold this up while it's hanging down. But yeah, so we'll see what happens there. But yeah, the quick jacks are great. Lets you get all under here and things like that. So, also, I have a little bit of a clunking noise in the front, just a little bit. And I've been trying to research for grease points on here. Everyone's saying there are no grease points. There's like some bushings here and there, but I'm gonna look for any grease points. If I find some, I'll let you guys know, and I'll most cars, I think, you know, they have grease fittings, and you can, some people call them a Zerk fitting maybe. You can like grease your suspension parts, but I couldn't find any on this one. All right, just to give you guys an idea. See how wide this is a 285 width. Hold on, kind of see from back here better. That's pretty wide. 285. These new Mustangs are the 305 widths and 315 widths. That's crazy. That's pretty good though. All right, I'm gonna get the thing down. I'm gonna put this thing on. You know, it's plug and play. And then who knows? I'm gonna test the other one with the ohm meter to see if what I do is, you know, this ohm meter. I don't know. You guys that are mechanics know better, but when I Google, it kind of says, hey, that's the symbol for ohm. It's like an upside down U. It's kind of hard to see. This one's kind of fancy. You hook a positive and a negative up to here, and I was getting a reading here. So we'll see if I get a reading with the old one. All right, so I'm gonna take things apart, drop it down, and to be continued. Hold on. So I've been all under this car. No grease fittings up front, but in the back, this is a rear lower control arm. It's adjustable. Now this is on the GT500. This could be aftermarket, or it could be how these come, but here's a grease fitting here. See, it has a little nipple sticking out, and there's one up there. And this is where you need a grease gun. I think this is called a Zerk fitting. I think you stick it up in there and you pump it full of grease. But yeah, these on the GT500, all I found were these are nice, solid rear lower control arms. I wonder if they're stock. If you guys have these 07 to 09 GT500s, yeah, let me know. That's pretty stout if it's stock, you know. And you got all these bars up here. The GT500 suspension, I'm pretty impressed with. Anyway, no grease fittings up front. So you know what I did do? Hold on. Ah, shit. Oh, I'm gonna get up here. Here I am. Here I come. Yeah, I got my glasses on too, huh? So, I used WT-40. If you see any rubber bushings and things like that, I sprayed WD-40 on them. I don't know if it matters, but it's a lubricant. Because I couldn't find any grease fittings here. I'm getting off topic, but you see these on these control arms, these are like these are called bushings. I sprayed WD-40, kind of squirted in and around them and in and around these parts like that. Even like these rubber knuckles in here. There's like rubber knuckles here connected to this. So yeah, that's what I did. I don't know if it helps, but unfortunately, not too many grease fittings on this car. The drive shaft might have, for those of you, the drive shaft, I think it has a single one in the back sometimes. So is it done? All right, I'm gonna grease those up, and they actually look fine, but I'll do some grease in them. Okay. And then the main part of this video is to replace that solenoid. I didn't want to get sidetracked, but yeah, you guys, you know, if you got your car up on lifts, look for any grease fittings, especially because they're old. If you have any clunking noises and things like that, usually that's kind of what it is. There's something that needs lubed down there sometimes, you know. Okay. Okay, you can see I unplugged this. There's a plug. Right here, that's the little solenoid, and it connects to a hose down here. I think 2 different hoses, so I'm not gonna put you guys through that, but a solenoid, you can see right here. Yeah, it's all dirty. Yeah, let me see, it's dirty here. Yeah, but I'm gonna take out this solenoid and pop the other one back in. So. Yep. And remember, we replaced, there's the canister we replaced last time that we were like, that's the issue. Which, now I'm going to try this. I'm debating blowing out the line with my air compressor. I think I'm too lazy for that now. Alright. Alright, you can get a good look at it right here. Right here. I just unplugged the hose from there. It took brute force. I'm gonna unplug this hose, and then I'll put the other one back on there. But that's what it looks like. Okay, well, we got the solenoid out, put the other solenoid in, and we plugged it back in. Yeah, don't forget to plug it back in, and we put everything back together. So, you know, just so you can see where you at. Dun, dun. Come on, flashlight. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, you see, solenoid, that's the plug to the solenoid. We hooked up the 2 connectors. Boom. Don't mind my wires down here. That's, I used to have an active exhaust, and I kept the wiring in case I want to put it back on. So this is the old solenoid, and I recommend, I mean, I had to use all my strength to get the rubber hoses off this, so any kind of grease, this is just ball grease. When I put the new one back on, I kind of just greased around it, and they slid on nice and easy. Giggity. Now, this is what I was talking about with the voltmeter. Put it on ohms. This one's kind of nice, it lights up. And then I tested these 2 connectors with a positive and negative. And it kind of had a reading almost a little bit less than the other one, but about the same, 50 something instead of 60 something. So I don't know if this was the issue. It's not time for me to fill up with gas yet. I mean, it could just be, and you mechanics out there know better than me, because there's a way to test these solenoids where you actually run like electricity through them. And I don't have that kind of equipment. Maybe you can with your battery terminal. Let me know in the comments, or I'll Google it and find out. But if you hear a clicking noise, if it click, then usually that means the solenoid's doing what it should do. It's opening and closing. Now, so we'll see. Unfortunately, this is kind of one of the things when you do mechanical stuff. You know, even if the dealer did this, they probably would. Well, they would have probably did the solenoid and the canister, and maybe did all three. But if you're on a budget, like me, you know, one part, you pick the cheapest part sometimes, and I swear, the canister, I thought it was it, but it's the solenoid and the canister. They work. The solenoid, actually, the hose running from the solenoid goes right to that canister. So, yeah. So they work hand in hand. So I'm hoping that's what it is. Yeah. So I know I'm kind of sad. It's no big deal. I can still hold the pump upside down, and it pumps just fine. So that's fine. So you quick jack fans, I'm gonna put the car back on the ground, and I'm going to show you how to do that with the quick jacks. First step is I make sure there's nothing underneath it, because yeah, I have a habit of doing that. The next step is these hydraulic lines. If I put it down right now, the wheel would sit on top of the hydraulic line, or it'll go under. So I usually just kind of move them out of the way like this. Yeah, that's probably good enough. I have a weight there, kind of. Yeah, you just want to keep the hydraulic lines out of the way. How's the other side? This side's not too bad. And I have these wall hangers. Now, they're too much of a pain. They're kind of heavy, so I only use one hanger, and I keep one slid against the wall. But whatever you guys want to do. So the first thing is, you want to put them up. So I'm going to push the up button. And this raises it just enough, see, so that we can flip this. That's that safety protection where it goes into that groove. This way we can put them back down. Otherwise, they won't go down. So you put them up slightly so that we can flip this like this. Don't stand in front of the vehicle. Oh, this is my camera. Hold on. All right. Well, we're just going to push the down button. As simple as that. You know, this is the main, like I said, this is the main unit here. So here we go. Going to push it down. Now, when you set these up, if you do get them, they're going to walk you through, because they have to, you can see why they have to go up and down at the same time. And you gotta hold it, make sure that they totally flatten out. Put this up. Now, I'm gonna go, before I move them out, I'm gonna make sure that the car didn't land on top of the hydraulic line. And it didn't. Sometimes this front wheel I've had laying on top of the line. So, but that's all there is to it. Kind of slide them out, and you can see here, just so you guys can get a good look at what they look like. Quick jacks. This is a 5000 TL model. So these are good for, I don't know. Damn, these weigh 78 pounds a piece. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not sure the capacity of these. I think these might be 2.5 tons or maybe a little more. All right, you can see this is what they look like. There's a hydraulic piece. That's where you bleed them from. But yeah, these are great. They save a lot of time. All right, Shelby, we'll see if we can pump gas in you. So yeah, I've even used quick jacks on this. You know, I kind of had to aim for the frame. So, well, yeah, so that's the whole solenoid. And I'll put the part number in the chat if you want to buy the less expensive one. This will be for the 2005 through probably 2012. I know, or at least 05 through 09 cars. It's called the vapor canister vent valve solenoid. And there's a part number, but I'll throw the part number in there. This is the $30, maybe a little bit more than $30 Rock Auto part. But if you're stuck on having genuine Ford parts, then you look to spend about 80 bucks. And, well, there you have it. All right, so thanks. Get a shot of this and a little closing shot here. And, oh, here's a good closing shot. Yeah, I'm a fanboy. All right, like and subscribe. Not all my videos are technical and boring like this one. All right, peace out. Thanks.